Okay, hey guys, what's up? It's Jasmine. Sorry about that. Okay, so today I wanted to start doing a Prozac / Fluoxetine diary progress type report thing. So basically, a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago or something, okay, I've done a couple of other videos about this, but they started off as being a video about relationship anxiety because that's what I thought I was experiencing, and then another video about where I was doing just an anxiety diary to try and like see where I felt better and everything, but then I just got so much worse. Okay, so basically this all kind of started a few months ago, where I started experiencing anxiety towards a particular situation, and obviously the anxiety, it would come and go, and then it kind of just stuck around a wee bit more, and then that situation changed and I still experience anxiety, and basically it's gotten to the point where I feel something that feels like anxiety all day, basically. It started to get, I think it really started to become a problem when I woke up panicking one day, and I thought, you know, that's really not right. So then I started to see a counsellor, but I only get 5 therapy sessions. But I can't, you know, I kind of thought this would go well, talk about my problems, and then I would, you know, feel better and learn some coping techniques, because I've already done cognitive behavioral therapy pretty intensely once in my life, and so I felt pretty confident in myself that I could use those skills to help with this situation. But as time went on, I started to feel worse. I started to get anxiety constantly, and then I started to become depressed, and I started also to have suicidal thoughts. So I decided myself to start taking fluoxetine when I started to think about killing myself, because I've taken fluoxetine twice before in my life, and I can't really speak to how well it worked for me, but obviously I got better from those times. And I just thought to myself that it's gotten to the point where I can't help myself anymore, because the thing is that even though I've been feeling really awful, and I've recently been finding it difficult to get out of the house, you know, like I feel this sort of like kind of dread to do that, but I've still been getting out of the house, I've still been socializing, I've still been seeing my friends, I've still been very active and everything, so I'm doing everything right to make the thing go away, but it seems to be getting worse. So I decided to start taking fluoxetine again, and so that I started to take it last Wednesday. It's now Monday. Okay, so on the Tuesday of last week, the day before I started taking the fluoxetine, I became really agitated after work. I then became suicidal. I then had to go to school, which I did manage to go to, but I felt really awful, and I knew that it was time to do something different. So then on the Wednesday, I really decided then, like I went to the doctor and I got my prescription, and then I took the pills, and then I felt really a lot better after 10 minutes. So I felt kind of like I was in like this fuzzy bubble thing, and I was able to feel happy, and I had like a really good few hours. Then I had a therapy session with my therapist, and after that, I guess I maybe felt a little bit worse or something. I'm not really sure. I went swimming, I think. Yeah, and I got myself some food, and I don't know, I made a bad decision later on that night, like a, a bad impulse control decision that wasn't very good. And then the next day I woke up and I thought that I felt alright, then I was getting ready for work, and then I just suddenly felt as though I could not go to work, that I felt so awful. But it's kind of weird because I didn't even really have time to feel awful, or did I? I don't know. But I was feeling really anxious, and I think I knew that I was going to feel suicidal that day. So I called in sick, but I told them that I was extremely distressed and everything like that. After that, I did feel quite calm. Like, I went to bed and I felt really calm, and then I fell asleep. And that was after having taken my pill. And then I woke up and I was feeling extremely anxious, and then I made some bad decisions, which increased my anxiety, as in I was reading forums on the internet about anxiety, which made me even more anxious. So there are some things that I still have to work on to try and make myself feel better. And then I felt really suicidal. My boyfriend called me. I had already told him that I was taking the day off work because I felt awful. He called me, and then I went after he finished work, and I hung out with him to try and help myself, which I think, it does help to be around other people because you can try and focus on something else. Anyway, then I went back home, and I can't remember how the night went. Can't remember. So then it was Friday. I felt just sort of, I can't remember how I felt at work. I was pleased to be at work. I felt really exhausted and that sort of thing. And then after work, I decided that I was going to go to a concert, Tovolo. But I felt really depressed, and I felt like I didn't want to go. Like, I just sort of really felt like I couldn't do it. But I did do it, and I'm really pleased with myself that I went. I went on a couple of rides, did normal things that I would like to do when I feel good and everything like that. So then in the weekend, on the Saturday morning, my anxiety changed to no longer focusing on my relationship, but instead it focused on my work permit in Sweden. So basically, how I would go about extending my work permit and thinking about that process not going well. So I obsessively thought about that on the Saturday morning, and then on the Sunday night, I obsessively thought about it again, even though I was feeling comfortably depressed, as in I felt as though my mood was low, but that I wasn't having the intense anxiety, so it was like a kind of a calming depression. But then I couldn't sleep because I was then having the anxiety and the recurring thoughts. So then that's where we get to today, where I woke up feeling very panicked about and thinking about my work permit. And then I went to work. I felt extremely fuzzy. I felt sick. I felt like I could pass out. I also had to go to the bathroom. So like physical symptoms, emotional symptoms, mental, that sort of thing, feeling hopeless. And then I was crying a lot today. My boyfriend called me twice to try and make sure that I was alright. I thought that I would have to go to the acute psychiatric place in Stockholm. I Skyped with my parents, and then after that my best friend called me. So I had a lot of help from people who were close to me, which I think really made a difference. So after work, I was feeling anxious about going home because I thought that if I went home I'd feel anxious. So I was feeling nervous about that, but I told my boyfriend about how I was feeling about that, and he suggested that I go for a walk right before heading home. So I did that, and I think that was a really good idea because then I got home, wasn't feeling too anxious, so I sort of was able to stop, the connection between anxiety and home by not going home in an anxious state. So hopefully that's something that I think that I should do more often. On the Sunday, actually, even though I was feeling really awful, I managed to get myself to leave the house and go swimming, and I also asked my friends if they wanted to do that. So I managed to actually hang out with two of my friends, and then I took them back to my place and we played a board game, which was really fun. Yeah. So I actually had a really good weekend, even though my anxiety and how I'm feeling it got in there anyway. But yeah, so after work I did the dishes and I tidied up the game, just sort of like trying to make my space feel pretty good, and I'm pretty happy about that. I sort of feel like a little bit of low anxiety, sort of a 4 out of 10. Yeah, there's like a feeling in my chest that makes it feel like I have anxiety. My head feels really weird, like it feels like there's this fuzzy feeling in the back of my head. So yeah, I'm taking 20 milligrams of Prozac, Fluoxetine. So yeah, that's where we're at so far. I was feeling really optimistic because of how instantly I felt something when I took it the first time, and then I've been really worried since I've felt really bad today. But it's a wait and see sort of thing. It's also, I just have to not make any decisions about things, because I go through stages where I think, oh well, this anxiety and these awful feelings, I could live with that for the rest of my life. But then what if I decide that I can't, because I can just as easily decide that I can't do it, then what am I supposed to do? So I just think that I need to take it one day at a time, and do the things that I want to do, like tidying up my space and drawing and things like that, and then getting the exercise. I mean, I've been exercising every day, I do lots of walking and all of that thing, so I'm doing everything right, I'm seeing my friends and all of that. I guess it just has to take time. So anyway, I'll be doing another update hopefully in about a week, and yeah, wish me luck. If anybody has any tips or tricks or anything, or just words of comfort, that'd be really nice. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope to see you guys all next time. Hey door!